should note before I get to our guest, Rodney, who, by the way, in '03, he hit me really hard one time. I don't know that I've ever really talked to him about this. I was playing right guard for Buffalo. I pulled, and he just came flying out of nowhere and back hipped me, and he hit me hard, dude. It's it is rare for a safety to hit you like that. That doesn't happen very often. Rodney, I don't know if I've ever talked to you about that. Do you remember blowing me up like that?
You know what? I've done it a few times to a couple big guys. You guys are so big, pulling around, and most of the time these little defensive backs come and chop you at your knees. So I think I caught you off guard because you probably thought I was going to go at your knees, but I ended up getting a good shot on you.
And you know what was so bad about it? It was the last game of the year. It was 2003 at Gillette, right in front of the Patriots bench. So as Rodney blows me up and I go down like a tree, all the Patriots guys started making fun of me and laughing at me. That was not a good moment, Rodney.
Yeah, Belichick gave me a big hug and told me good job.
Did he really? Do you remember that? Do you remember, Rodney, the best hit of your career? Hopefully it was that, but if it wasn't that, what's the best hit of your career? Do you remember?
To be honest, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant, I've had so many great hits, whether it was an offensive lineman, a running back coming through the hole, or a wide receiver coming across the middle. I don't know. They've all been pretty good.
You know what, though? I know how much of a hit it was you gave me because there's probably only 5 or 6 hits, from all my time playing football that I still think about from time to time. The next year in '04, Bledsoe threw a pick and Roosevelt Colvin blindsided me as I stupidly tried to make the tackle on whoever got the pick. I mean, if you remember a hit, then it was a pretty bad one, that's for sure.
No doubt. I do remember when Barry Sanders at the goal line, when I think I was a rookie or a second-year player, and he just ran me over right at the goal line. That's something I'll never, ever forget. I never got a chance to kind of get my revenge, so he got a good one on me.
We're talking with Rodney Harrison, NBC's Football Night in America. Obviously, there's kind of a big game tonight. Rodney will also be on part of the pregame festivities on NBC Sports Network's Pro Football Talk. I'll be on that for a couple segments as well, so I will see you tonight, Rodney. Before we get into tonight's game or any other stuff going on with the NFL, I am curious to get your opinion on the latest Spygate stuff. I wasn't there that long. I didn't win a Super Bowl when I was there. But do you feel like every time new information comes out, it's trying to chip away a little bit more at those 2 Super Bowl rings you have?
Yeah, the one that really bothers me in particular is Carolina Panthers. They just recently come out and they talked about, it was like we're in their huddle. And, it's unbelievable after a decade. Then all of a sudden this report comes out. Now all of a sudden these guys want to come out from Carolina. They want to talk trash about us being in a huddle. The reason why we beat you is because we have a better coach than you. We had better players. We out-hit you, and we out-executed. You weren't the only team that we beat. We won 15 games in a row that year. And all of a sudden, no one said anything when Musa Muhammad caught an 87-yard touchdown pass. If I would have known the calls, Ross, trust me, I would have said, check cover 2, and we would have double-teamed them. It's unbelievable. Why is it so hard for these haters to sit back and just give us credit and say they had a great team? They had a freaking great team. You look at a lot of guys on that roster, and we got Hall of Fame credentials. A lot of those guys have Hall of Fame credentials, but yet because we were so humble, because we didn't brag, we didn't boast, because Belichick never pubbed us up, that we're looked at as being average players. We had a bunch of ballers on that team. And for whatever reason, now all of a sudden, 10 years later, they want to come and discredit us. It's absolutely crazy, Ross.
Ronnie, refresh my memory, but didn't that game kind of turn into a shootout in the second half? Wasn't it like 35-31 or they scored pretty many points for you guys knew their plays.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They said, well, in the second half, we changed our philosophy. In the second half, we were tired. I got hurt. Other guys had to come in. We were playing some young defensive backs. And if you're a team and you're in the Super Bowl, obviously you're able and capable of making plays. They had a lot of great players. Musa Muhammad, Steve Smith, who's still playing, Deshaun Foster. They had a lot of really great football players. And, of course, a good team's going to make a run eventually in the Super Bowl, and they did that. But my thing is this: why bring it up now? What is that going to accomplish? It's going to make you look like sour grapes, just like as if we had the bug, stupid locker rooms. I'm the safety back there in the secondary. If anybody would have known what the play would have been if we were cheating, it would have been me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one in charge of making all the secondary calls. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. And why are we even talking about this crap? And the kickoff season is tonight.
Well, and that's the thing, with all the stuff that came out, I just felt like, most of it was from 10 years ago. It's already been noted that the Patriots were doing some things they shouldn't have been doing back then. They already got punished, and it was 10 years ago. I didn't feel like anything came out that was that significant. The thing that bothers me about it is I played for Buffalo most of that time when you guys were winning Super Bowls, and it does kind of take away in some people's mind what Brady and Bruschi and Seymour. I tell people all the time, Seymour is the best defensive lineman I've ever went against. And so the shame of it is, no matter how much you guys did benefit or whatever actually happened or didn't happen, it does in a lot of people's mind take away a little bit of what you guys did, which I think is the shame of it, because I really believe that you guys were that good.
Well, let me say this. I can't control, or we can't control what other people think. I can't control if Bill did what he did, if Ernie Adams did what he did. We had no connection to any of that, okay? As players, all we controlled was our work ethic, our preparation, how we went out there and we played. We played hard, we played tough, we played smart, and we were very, very productive. So if people on the outside, if they want to sit back and say, well, it takes away from what they've accomplished, then that's on them. But in our hearts and our minds, because we put so much effort into it, it doesn't take away anything, because we know that we prepare. We know that we kick butt, and it is what it is. And that's the bottom line. I can't control what Bill Belichick or any of those guys in the organization, general managers or any of those other guys, what they've done or if they did anything. All we can control is what we did, and that's what we did.
Talking with Rodney Harrison. He's a two-time Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, one of the few guys out there with over 30 sacks and 30 interceptions. You'll be able to catch him tonight on PFT, on NBCSN, as well as Football Night in America. Rodney, these teams tonight, to me, are eerily similar. They both are missing their center, depleted wide receiving core. Neither one of them has their running back. Talk to me, though, about their secondaries, because there's legitimate concerns with both of these teams' secondaries. Which one do you feel better about, and why?
Well, I feel better about the Patriots secondary, to be honest with you, because of the coaching staff. Devin McCourty, he's a Pro Bowl free safety. Malcolm Butler, they really like this kid. It would be unfair for us to try to compare him to Darrelle Revis, so of course we have to temper our expectations. But this kid, he can play. They call him Scrap because he's so scrappy. He's competitive. They like this kid. But he has a challenge, too, because now he comes in from a reduced role playing, nickel and dime situational football, 20, 25 plays a game. Now all of a sudden he's allocated to playing 60 plays a game, possibly facing the number one receiver. So in his mind, everything changes, because now he has to be on guard every single play. But, when I look at the Steelers defense, they don't have any proven playmakers. Who do they have? They got rid of Troy Polamalu. He's the guy that was exciting, brought excitement to that secondary, strip sacks, interceptions, forced fumbles. They don't have a guy like that. William Gay is the most consistent cornerback back there. And to me, he's a solid player, but he's not great. I think Tom Brady should have a big night against these guys.
Let's take a look, Rodney, at just the NFL in general. I don't know that I feel great about any teams this year. Do you have Super Bowl picks, or do you have a couple teams that you really feel like are great Super Bowl picks? Because every team that you would say is a Super Bowl contender, I feel like there's a couple things about them that really legitimately concern me.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ross. I think all of them, what you're trying to say, all of them have flaws. And before Jordy Nelson got hurt, that was my Super Bowl pick, the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. I think once you lose him, you lose a vital part of your offense, obviously. The Patriots, when they lost both their starting corners, it's hard for me to sit there and just dive in and say, I truly believe in the Patriots, because the two cornerbacks were a huge part of the identity of the defense. So it changes everything for the Patriots. The Seattle Seahawks, obviously no Cam Chancellor. Offensive line is kind of shaky. They don't really have an outstanding wide receiver. Yes, they got Jimmy Graham, but who knows if he can stay healthy. So I think you're absolutely right. It's really no clear-cut favorite in terms of the Super Bowl this year. We don't know what's going on. That's why I say we're all experts and we don't know anything.
It's funny, Rodney, because we're going to get into some of the Jason Pierre-Paul stuff a little bit. And obviously, for $870,000 a week, he told the Giants, I can play, even though his hand's still not healed. He lost a finger with the fireworks incident. I'm just curious, how much of an impact do you think it would have on you, if at all, if you had lost your index finger? And I'm pretty confident for $870,000 a week, you'd be saying you could play right now too.
It's different, Ross, and maybe I need to ask you that question because you're offensive lineman, and you know how you guys, especially you're a guy that holds, and you do use your hands for any type of advantage that you get. But I think from a defensive lineman, and maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, he doesn't have to grab as much. You guys come through and you can do those karate chops, and he's such a great athlete. I think off of pure athleticism alone, because he's such a great athlete, he should be able to get 6 to 8 sacks. I think once he truly gets healthy with his hand, I think he can gain some confidence, and I still think he can be a very productive player. I don't know, and maybe that's my question to you. Do you think that he can still play on the same level, or do you think that it will alter his ability to play at some point?
Well, I mean, the fact that they said he won't even be healed for another month is concerning, because even then when he comes back, what kind of shape is he in? And how well will he be able to use that hand in a violent fashion? He doesn't need to grab that much, but man, I don't know. I wouldn't expect very much from him at all this year.
What would you do if you saw a guy with one finger missing? Would you change the way you play? Would you attack him any differently?
No, but if he had a club on that hand, I would tell us to run to him. So if it was his outside hand, I would say let's run outside to that direction, because he's not going to be able to lever off of your shoulder pads and jersey. He's not going to really be able to lock you out because he can't grab. I think that's what he said, Rodney. He said, I'll put a club on it and I'll play for $870,000 a week. The Giants said, no, we're not paying for that right now. Last question. I got to ask, how's Dan doing? What's Dan doing? Does Dan just sit there in front of the TV and watch the DP show when he's not on?
I don't know. Dan is a weird guy. He kind of he's like a ghost. He comes in, he kind of punches in, he asks a few questions when we're going through rehearsal, and then he leaves. And, I don't know what he's doing, to be honest with you, but I do tell you this. The Dan Patrick Show has been officially upgraded for Ross Tucker. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I think, you need to get your own radio show, big guy.
Shots fired. I like it, Ronnie. Spread the word. You got a lot of clout. You're on TV every day. You're on Football Night in America. Tell all the big execs up there what you just told me.
Sounds good, Ross. Thanks for having me, man.